Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Why Teacher. In today's episode, we're looking at the importance of one of the most mundane routines that teachers follow once they enter the classroom, which is write on the whiteboard the expectations and the objectives of the lesson plan. So, while the whole concept of walking into a classroom and writing your lesson objectives and expectations on the board might appear to be a very routine kind of a task, the board view in itself holds a lot of importance. And with time and experience, I've realized two things about the board view. Number one, it is a focused space for children to make references about their learning throughout the lesson. And the second important thing is that it is very reflective of the kind of teacher that you are. In a lot of ways, I feel that the board view gives the teacher a lot of autonomy, power, and authority. And if you are an authoritative teacher, you'd probably be filling up your board with all the expectations set. You're going to put up the objectives, you're going to put the key vocabulary, and you're going to brief them about everything for the lesson. However, if you're a democratic teacher who believes that it's not just your voice but also the student voices that matter, then your board is going to still have some space for the lesson to build on. And that is what is special about the board view. It goes without saying that visual aids make the learning process more interesting. They promise student engagement and participation more, and a lot of times you will see that a child who doesn't really perform otherwise, with the help of visual aids, is able to produce a better result. So the power of visuals cannot be underestimated. Now, going back to writing the board view, so what are some of the things that you can do to make it a child-friendly space where children are as engaged as the teacher? So here are some ideas. So to start with, it would be best to divide your board into two parts, or whichever aesthetic sense you want to use to present your information. I would dedicate one side of the board to the basic objectives of the lesson and the learning outcomes or expectations, and the other half of the board would be engaged in developing the children's skills. So through the lesson, a lot of times children come up with a really good idea or will say something really meaningful that you want other children to think about. So having a little space on the side of the board that is titled Bright Ideas or the quote of the day would be a lovely way of building on to the lesson. So when a child gives you a one-liner that really reinforces either character development or reinforces a certain scientific concept, it would be great to put it up there, and it would give the child the confidence to understand that even if that idea hasn't been fully explored, it is something to think about. We all understand that without comprehension, the understanding of the lesson wouldn't come through. So a lot of times we come across different words that children need to explore and understand meanings for. So having a little space on the board where children can interact through a Pictionary round where they come and draw the, different kinds of words or showcase their understanding of the words through drawings would also be something they would look forward to. So what I'm trying to say in a sense is that the board view need not be a mundane kind of a thing that children look at or stop looking at, because if they realize that it's something that's going to have a static piece of information, they're not going to be interested after a certain time period. So we want active learning to happen inside the classroom, which is only possible when the children look forward to things changing in the scenario or the things changing as a visual. I think schools that push teachers to present the board view a certain way really don't do much of a favor to them, because they're really taking away that individual personality of the teacher. And every teacher has a certain way of expressing what they want to teach that day. So apart from the fact that some things are going to be very much decided on, the objectives of the lesson, or how the teacher wants to present that to the children should be the teacher's own choice. And it should bring out the teacher's individual expression, because a lot of times you'll find it very interesting to see that a teacher who's artistically inclined can tend to draw a lot on the board and present their information in a more interesting manner. So we don't know the capacities of the teachers unless and until we give them the autonomy to practice what they love or practice what they believe in. And so, conclusively, if you want your children to verbalize their learning, if you want them to be self aware of their capacities, their talents, their skills, then engage their voices. So, each time you sit down to plan something for the children, make sure that the resources and tools that you use always have some space available for your children's expression. What I can promise you is that your mundane, ordinary routines will become extraordinary with the inclusion of all voices. Until next time, Allah Hafiz.